So most of last week played out, kind of moving about the actual city of Tolis itself. For much of the session, we were kind of just moving between, um, I think, kind of making our way to Rivergate and trying to investigate what had happened with Seamus. And then the basically Seamus kind of like made it to Kranich compound where they had Fawn and her son Kellyan. And Kellyan was basically taken. Seamus immediately started to like track them down, and upon kind of like getting there, some hours later, uh, trying to think of her name. Give me one. Maybell was able to kind of cast the spell that would sort of aid you all in tracking the footsteps of Seamus as he basically moved through the city, tracking those who had taken Kellyan. So you guys kind of moved through the Rivergate, through the North Market, down into the Temple District, and towards an area where you've been many times before, and in particular, the actual area of um, the row of 1,000 gods. I think maybe it's a million gods. Yeah, Street of a Million Gods, that kind of central north south road of the Temple District. And you were kind of like crisscrossing it from times, making it almost as far as the God's Day Circle and the temple, like the largest temple to shit, why can't I think of the like state religion? Lothian, the largest temple to religion, like Lothian, where like the God's Day Circle is, and like Temple 156 there is on the map. And like you had kind of kept like crisscrossing, clearly kind of moving between whoever had taken Kellyan was doing something to the effect of hopefully trying to abandon anybody who might be following them. You would eventually find Seamus kind of in the process of staring down this temple, the Temple of 53 Gods of Chance, and upon touching Seamus would find that he was essentially already dying, that he was sort of paralyzed and frozen in place. And in the process of kind of like touching him, he like falls over at your feet. You guys would do enough to save his life, and enough to basically find out that he was watching somebody as they moved into that temple, and seems to have been himself self ambushed in that process. You would investigate the Temple of the 53 Gods of Chance and end up kind of moving on, as it seemed like the proprietor, Jewel Nabiscore, seemed pretty much ignorant of anything kind of happening. And the temple itself seemed to just be a tiny little temple to a few, 53 in particular, random gods, and that this place was just a chance encounter, but not the place where apparently people were disappearing. Um, you would eventually, though, kind of returning, like going through the sewers and kind of like searching, find like very little options like in the sewers to go elsewhere. All of it seemed very kind of typical actual sewer area. Specifically, the Temple District actually has some of the best sewers because they are also one of the richest districts. Um, but as you're kind of like going through this area, you eventually return to the Temple of 53 Gods of Chance, questioning Jewel a little bit deeper. You started to gather like the kind of clues, like there were definitely people who were coming in here. And as far as things go, they didn't necessarily seem to be leaving. Jewel just often assumed they were leaving, and thoroughly searching, kind of paranoia level searching, you all would eventually find that Like when you walk around this place, it's this size, and when you're inside, there's just a little bit of space where there's nothing being used, and you would eventually find that there was a secret passage on kind of the northern side of the temple itself. And we pretty much, oh, that's a big zoom. We pretty much held off. Soon after you all would go down there, you start to hear the voice of this creature kind of warning you away. And then as you pushed further, kind of like instructing you once more, like you've entered into a place where you don't belong. Clearly, you're not used to hearing the orders to go. This is your final warning. This is their domain. Until you guys would kind of be confronted by this sort of hideous, flying like creature that almost has like a fleshless body, some sort of uh, animal-like creature, the beak of kind of a like a bird of prey sort of thing, and massive wings, but it stands like a human. And that is where we held off. Do you have anything in particular that you guys think is important that I left off from that bit of a recap?
So just to double check, did we end up going back and long resting?
I believe I forced you guys to after the sewer. I think I
Okay.
said you guys are going to use the rest of your day searching the sewer, and I just wanted to progress the story instead of necessarily, because I'm pretty sure I basically said to you guys like after you spend a day in the sewer, we're going to take a break here, and when you guys kind of return, you'll come back from alone. I
Okay, yeah,
didn't
that
actually
sounds
put
right.
that in my notes, but I'm pretty sure that's what we did.
Yeah, and if I remember right, before we ended, didn't he also make us do a saving throw for something? I think Gale was the only one who failed it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I didn't put that in, but yeah, because Davros used his level 9 ability to use like a legendary resistance to save it. So yeah, only Gale kind of like stopped as you guys progressed forward and heard like the screech and scream from before you. But we will start with initiative here. I don't believe I had you guys roll initiative, so we're gonna start as you see this like fleshless creature before you with these massive wings and like a crazy carrion beak. If you guys can roll for initiative.
Going to be an 11 for me.
A 19 for Gale.
And 23 for Jinx.
Alrighty. What would you like to do, Jinx? As you see this creature, you hear the footsteps of Gale behind you just kind of stop as you and Davros are still kind of like slowly moving, and you can now see like the light kind of starting to scatter across this room, and you can see this fleshless bird that seems to be standing upon its hind legs. What would you like to do?
Okay, so Jinx is going to at first a little bit casually continue to walk forward, and then all of a sudden he's just gonna kind of bolt off to the side, kind of strategically, maybe some kind of acrobatic dive move, and he's gonna say, "It was a mistake to guarantee that we were enemies. You could have pointed us in the right direction, but now your goose is cooked." And you'll see a little bit of lightning start going through his fingers, and then it sort of gathers up all in front of him, and then he's going to shuriken out a lightning bolt at this thing.
Excellent.
So it would be third level and it's dexterity 17 saving throw.
That's not gonna cut it.
Okay, so it
Oh,
is
but it does
8.
have advantage.
Okay, no problem.
Also not gonna cut it.
Okay, so it's 8d6 lightning damage.
That's not a level. That's not a level 3 though. If it's a first level spell, it should be 8d6. You're casting it at a third level. My bad. Never mind. You're not like upping it 3 levels. My
Oh,
bad.
no,
I'm
no,
thinking
no.
of that
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, I'm like casting it at its
Yeah,
base level. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Sorry,
You're
I
good.
might have said that kind of weird.
No, my brain's just thinking different.
Oh, you're good. It's pretty low roll. 24 total.
All right, you'll notice as it like starts to sink into this thing's skin that a lot of the electrical energy kind of like arcs around its body and kind of holds to the flesh a little bit longer and almost seems to dissipate into the stone around it.
Okay, sounds good. And then Jinx, like kind of seeing this and realizing maybe this didn't have like its full effect. He's gonna yell back at Gale, and he's gonna say, "Lightning ain't working too good, but now's a good time for a spell." And bardic inspiration, Gale.
Gale is stunned and can't do anything here. So it's gonna go.
Oh, did you do a con check? My bad.
Wait, from this creature?
Yeah, I don't know if he has to because I lightning bolted him. 24 damage.
Like for concentration, it's not concentration.
Okay, okay, I got you. Just checking.
I think we've established nobody actually speaks the language of this creature in its truest form. It's going to start to fill this room with chants as it starts to like weave its fingers together, and you start to see as it's like weaves them kind of closer together and like pulls them apart and kind of extends them out that there's like a dark red and black kind of like misty almost like kind of liquid opaque like stretch of space in between its fingers, and then it kind of weaves them back together like on a different kind of like angle of this little area, and it pulls it apart again, and it's kind of chanting these words that just don't make any sense to you as they cross into some other plane of language. And high good or high bad? Somebody say. First one's the one that matters.
Hi, bad.
Oh, that would have been good too. And you just see as it's like pulling this like weave of magic across, and then all of a sudden, as it incants this final name of power, you see as it seals up, and nothing seems to have happened. Davros, what would you like to do?
Davros is going to rush forward, drawing out his great sword. He's going to kind of like looking back at Gale, can see he seems to be out of it. He's like, "Come on, snap out of it, Gale. We need you for this." And he's just going to move forward and um, it's like, "Yeah, like you'll not stop us." And going to take 2 swings. I will use my inspiration to give myself advantage on the first one.
Not terribly hard to hit. What's your plus these days? Oh yeah, that plus 11. That 11's gonna hit for sure.
Yeah, I think it's +9 at this point. Yeah, that'll be for 12 damage, unless it's lawful.
it is not.
All right. Second swing. That will be a 15.
Here you will find its AC is in fact 15 as you like cut into it, and barely does your blade kind of like start to skim across its flesh before it starts to dig in and you cut down into the flesh itself.
All right, and that will be for another 14 damage.
Excellent. And you can see as you like are sliding your blade through this thing, you can actually see like the magic of your sword interacting with its flesh. Um, in general, I'm gonna tell you like off the bat here, like the magic of the blade is part of why you're doing your damage as you are.
Gotcha. Yep.
If that is all from Davros, we will go to Jinx.
Oh, one thing I forgot to ask in the recap. We have not yet received, or has Davros gotten his belt yet? Because I think initially we said yes, but then we kind of retconned and said we went straight to Seamus, so I don't think he's had a chance to actually get it yet, right?
Yeah, because technically we just had you guys long rest. You didn't wait a week. So yeah, let's say no belt.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Just wanted to double check. Yeah.
Okay, so I think not seeing anything come from the hallway from Gale and like kind of wondering what the hell is going on. I'm gonna move back to get an eye on him. Do I need to do like some kind of check or something to see what's wrong with him? Do I have an idea? Is he like literally just like paralyzed in place? Is he just kind of like mumbling and drooling? Like what's going on, like observation wise?
Roll an insight here.
It is a 418.
Not a negative, yeah. As far as things go, you can basically see like Gale like wasn't necessarily like stopped and not doing anything. He was frozen, like he wasn't breathing. His body was frozen solid. Like autonomic systems were not functioning. And you can actually see now his chest is starting to like rise. You can see as his fingers are starting to like break loose. Whatever it was that was holding him from reacting is no longer holding.
All right. So that being said, I'm just gonna yell out to Gale, don't be lollygagging too long. We need your help. Davros, he looks like he's coming too. Wait for the right moment and then strike. And I'm gonna give Davros Bardic Inspiration. And then I'm gonna do suggestion against the creature. And I think I have to just is that the one where I have to use one word? Oh no, one sentence. Okay. So it's wisdom 17 saving throw. And I'm just gonna say, grovel before us and you might find mercy.
Gotcha. You can see where it's like almost starting to like drop to a knee, but it's still a little bit too quick to really know what it's doing. Gail, what would you like to do?
I would like to firebolt it. Feels like a safe choice. What's the? Because I still have the bardic inspiration, right? What's the die for that?
D8 Bardic Inspiration.
Yeah, so with that, it's a 19 to hit.
Solid hit.
Or 14 fire damage.
Gotcha. You'll see kind of in a similar way as like the fire kind of like burns into this thing's flesh. It almost like kind of like burns across its body, but just doesn't seem to do as much damage as you would expect, as it just kind of like dissipates across a large scale of it. So it's just going to kind of like move forward towards you as it kind of gives up its back towards Davros, and it just kneels before Jinx, and it's just going to say, "I'm sorry, Master. I'm so sorry for betraying your trust. Whatever I could do." My My bad. I screamed and then I let go of the button. As it kind of screams out at you, it's going to release spores into the air around it, and all of you are going to start to choke on this toxic mycelial like matter that starts to fill the air around you and the air in your lungs. Need you all to make Constitution saving throws, please.
Got a 13 for Gale.
19 for Davros.
I'm on a 6.
All right. This does take no damage. All right. So Davros, you are good. The other two of you would be poisoned. And it's going to go to you, Davros. So what would you like to do?
All right, so Davros manages to like kind of like maybe like get up a hand and kind of keep the worst of the spores, but he but as like thing is like releasing them, even as it's like kind of almost looking like it's going to kneel down before Jinx, he's just going to try and like shout like it's a trick, maybe like kind of like coughing through it as he says it, but he's going to just keep attacking this thing as it actually I guess he'll kind of like maneuver a little bit to try and get a little bit of flanking as it kind of, you know, Davros is thinking of kind of pretending to bow towards Jinx, but he will take another couple swings here. It should be 2 hits for 21 damage total.
Excellent. Anything else from Davros?
That'll be it for now.
Gale, what would you like to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna just magic missile it. See if that.
Gotcha. You will take 9 poison damage as well, Gale. What level are you magic missiling?
I'm gonna start with the first level one. Just because I wanna see if it's like all magic or if it's fire and lightning it has. If it's resistant to magic specifically, or it's just like the damage type we did. So let's see. 3 darts. How do you want me to do this? Do you want me to roll just 1 die or like all 3 die for the different?
3. Roll 3 die.
So that would be a total of 10 damage with 3 darts.
Gotcha. Each of them piercing into the same location, one after the other. They all seem to bore into its flesh with full potency.
Continue.
You can kind of see, like, in the same location where those darts have hit, where, like, often creatures are, like, pouring forth, like, blood and, like, mucus from inside of their flesh and fleshy bodies. You can see sort of that same, like, dark black and red, like, interspatial, kind of, like, uh, weave that it was kind of trying to pull open at the start of this. You can kind of see that almost, like, being revealed inside of it. And it's gonna go to the creature here. All right, it is going to slash out at Jinx with its talons. Should hit you with a 20.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to do 16 slashing damage to you as it cuts across you with one of its hands. And while its nails are still like grinding through and across the bones of your chest, it kind of like uses that little bit of attention to kind of like pull you forward as it tries to bite down into your throat with its beak. That is the wrong die entirely. and that should be unsuccessful as it tries to bite down onto you. And with that, it should go to Davros.
Wait, did I get skipped in the order there?
Yeah, I think Jinx goes before Davros.
Yeah, Jinx is at the top of the order. Wow, what did I do? I went straight to Gale from Davros?
So let's see, Jinx, your first turn, you did the Bardic Inspiration and the Lightning Bolt, and then
And then shaked on me and suggestion.
right. So this will be Davros's third turn, I think. So yeah, Jinx
Gotcha, yeah,
technically
so I
has to
must
go.
have went from...
Yeah, I think I was supposed to be right before the bird, actually.
No,
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 that's
you're
not.
before Gale. You're after Davros before Gale. You are at the top of the order.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, regardless, I was supposed to get a turn, I think, there.
You're going to take 6 poison at the top of your turn.
Okay, but it is my turn now then, or?
It is indeed, yes.
Okay, so I will. Do we have any idea with poison, like in general, just like how long it lasts for?
Every type of poison is different than the next. So no.
Okay, I got you. So yeah, I'm gonna circle around, and then get within touch range of Gale, and then you'll see the staff head lights up, and then I'll just do like a little cross, and I'll touch him with the staff, and he'll say, "Poisoned you are no more." And I'm gonna do lesser restoration and try to cure his poison.
Gotcha. Gale, do you remember how much damage I did to you with that poison?
Let's see, you did 9 damage.
So you can gain that back. You are no longer poisoned.
Thank you.
And then I'm just gonna take a couple more steps back to the other side of the creature, and then I think that's gonna be it for this turn for me. Because that counts as casting a spell, right? If I use the staff, doesn't it?
It counts as whatever action you used. But you didn't cast a spell.
Well, wait, isn't the staff like using my action to cast a spell with the staff of healing? Like, isn't it
Yeah.
casting lesser restoration, or does the charge not count as a casting?
Charges not count as a casting. So, like, if you wanted a bonus action healing word or do a bonus action spell, you can indeed cast the bonus action spell.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I will bonus action, and I'll just hold my hand up in the air, and then I'll just say, "Let the holy light shine down upon me," and I'll do a first level healing word.
Gotcha. So, end of your turn, you can make a Constitution roll. And then we're on Davros's turn, and you're no longer poisoned.
Yeah, Davros is just gonna keep swinging away at this thing, trying to cut it down. Okay, so first one will miss, but then there's a second one is a crit. So that should be for let's see, 17 plus another 7, so for 24.
Gotcha. So, like, as you like strike into its back, like one of these like cuts you actually like draw open like the entirety of its back, and you see as you like split an entire section of its rib cage and like an entire wing, and those like ribs kind of like break loose as the muscles kind of like tense up and just start to pull that entire section of its body away. And again, you can see like this void of black and red sort of like interspatial weave that like is inside of this creature. In the same way that it tried to pull this weave open before, you can see it within the creature itself. As it screams in agony, it's going to go to Jinx.
Wait, that can't be right.
Well, because we missed your turn before, so you weren't out of order last time, but now after Davros, it would come back around to you. Because I think it's you, Gale, the creature, Davros.
Correct.
Oh, okay. So I was okay. I got you. That totally psyched me out. All right. So back to me again. So time walk.
Didn't really count as a time walk. That's the same reason like Gale didn't take.
Well, it feels like a time walk because I just went. I was not ready for this. Okay, so it definitely felt like it was resistance to electric or lightning damage, right? Is electricity the same as lightning damage?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with I tried to warn you. Now it looks like you're gonna get carved up and we're gonna make quick work of you. And I'll hit it with the vicious mockery. Wisdom 17. And it's psychic damage.
How much damage is it doing?
Total of 6 psychic damage. And the next attack roll it makes is disadvantage.
If you are done, it will go to Gale.
Yeah, no bonus action this turn.
Yeah, and Gale will. Yeah, I mean, he's looking pretty rough. I'm gonna chance doing just a normal firebolt at it. Oh yeah, I don't think 12 will. Well, yeah, 12. I don't think that hits.
All right, it's going to kind of like push towards Gale as it like reaches out with a claw. It's going to try to claw out at Gale. This will be at disadvantage, rather. Probably going to be a big old miss here. And then it's going to kind of like spinning around its beak and its long neck are going to extend out as it tries to bite down into Davros. It's going to kind of like say to him in a common tongue, "Such a noble warrior. What is the name of one so powerful as thee, who tries to slay me from these mortal realms?" And it's going to try to bite down onto Davros.
Looks like that'll hit.
It's going to do 9 damage to you as it piercing damage as it bites down into you, Davros. And then it's going to go to you, Davros.
All right. Davros is not the smartest guy, so I'm gonna go ahead and make a roll to see if he actually answers the thing's question. Or I guess it's probably more of a wisdom roll, but yeah.
Yeah, probably wisdom.
Okay, I think that's enough. That I mean, he knows this thing is probably evil, so he's going to he's just going to instead reply, "You have not earned the right to know," and then take 2 more swings trying to finish this thing off. So those should both hit. It'll be for a total of 26 damage.
Gotcha. So as you cut it down, its body starts to like fold in onto that inner spatial plane, and you see as that like blackish red fluid kind of like starts to pull smaller and smaller until this creature is kind of folded into nothing. But one of the last things you're going to hear before it kind of dissipates is, "No matter, I've tasted your flesh. I'll find you again." Actually, you know what? The last thing it will say, not I'll, it will say, "Gizagat will find you again." As you guys have the room, what would you like to do?
Yeah, well, I mean that. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, just well, seeing we just fought a demon, I'm pretty sure we're on the right track at least.
Yeah, but
And
it
it,
looks like we got a couple different ways we could head. I could still kind of taste those spores in my lung. I think they're trapped on the thin coating of awe.
So, the stairs to the right in this room are the stairs you all came from the Temple of 53 Gods of Chance. You guys followed like a long kind of hallway that kind of like twisted and turned, kind of coming around in this direction. Before you, you guys really just have one set of stairs that you can see to the southwest.
Oh, that's my bad. I was zoomed in too far on the map. It looked like there was another way to go. What's the thing south of us, like that little area?
I think just like a ritual dais kind of thing.
Okay, okay. I don't suppose either one of you got bit, did you?
Oh, no bites for me.
I think Davros did just at the very end before he cut it down. He took a bite. But it looks like a fairly minor wound. But he does look a little bit kind of uncertain as he kind of looks towards Gale, and you think it was telling the truth. It can find us again.
I mean, it's a demonic creature. I wouldn't really put past it, but I mean, if it does, we can always just take care of it again. Given enough time, I'm sure it would get bored or find it useless.
Well, seems like there's only one way to go. And Davros will start heading for the stairs.
I reckon if it was demonic, though, it wouldn't have told us its name, right? Doesn't that give us some kind of power over it? Or maybe it was a trick to try to get us to say it. Maybe we just remember it, but we don't say it.
And I will say I recognize the name from before at least, but don't have too much information on it. It's an old story.
All right, well, if everybody's in good shape, let's keep on moving.
So you guys can see in these like ancient kind of architectural halls, like there's a long hall that kind of stretches out before you. The stairs kind of lead down about 10 or so feet before it seems like the hall seems to turn. And with that turn, there's another set of stairs that you can see visibly before you. turning the stairs, you can see two directions that they kind of lead down to in a cross hallway. One to the north, one to the south. To the north, there's another set of stairs.
So Davros is going to kind of feel like um, nod his head towards the stairs and start that way. So up, the stairs up to the north of him.
All right, so climbing these stairs, you're going to see kind of a hall sort of open up before you. You can kind of see the walls kind of just out of view. Right, you guys have the light spell right now. I think that's 20 feet. So you can basically see that there's like walls, like a few doorways. There's a way that you can go to the south, another set of stairs to the east, and then another two ways to go to the north, and then two doors to the north. And about are these 10-foot squares? Damn it. All right, yeah, 15-foot table in the center of the room.
Is there anything like on the table? Any like indication of what it is? Is it used for anything in particular, like a dining table or?
Tables, generally speaking, going to be pretty clean. You can see like runners that kind of like extend along it. And each one seems to be kind of like laid over and like next to another. So like there's a few different runners that are kind of covered up beneath and below others. When you look closest, I think you can see like a gray runner has kind of been laid across and over the others. As you look around the room, you'll pretty quickly kind of recognize like the runners seem to represent the different cults that have kind of been placed here. You can see that there's a cracked gray bell as a kind of tabard that hangs along the wall. There's a broken black square that's a tabard on the wall. There's a green spiral in a tabard on the wall. And then there's a multi-pointed red arrow that's one of the tabards on the wall. And each of these four tabards like has a runner kind of on the table. And again, the gray runner sits atop the others.
Oh, what do you mean when you say runner?
It's just like a piece of fabric that kind of like goes along the table. It's not like a tablecloth, but like it's like at the center of the table and it goes like the full length of the table.
Ah, okay, I'm picturing what you're talking about. Can we do just like a base level, like sort of investigation to see if there's any signs of like travel one way or another, like where they may have gone specifically?
What are you gonna do?
I guess just look for like footprints on the ground, or like dust, you know what I mean? Spider webs that haven't been like moved. Just to sort of see if we could tell like one way looks more recently traversed.
Roll an investigation.
23.
Looking around this hall, these are ancient works of stone, but this place itself, it's clean. This wood that the table's made of, it's new. None of this stuff is nearly as ancient as the rooms that they are built in, but there's not really signs of dust. There's not really signs of, like soot. This place is clean.
Awkwardly well kept for an underground lair. I can't tell which way anybody would have went, but looks like somebody was here not long ago and they've been keeping it awfully tidy.
It would seem we found their meeting place, or one of them. And if those runners are any indication, we know which one's in charge. But Davros is going to kind of, as he's saying that and kind of looking at the table, he is going to move up towards one of this first door on the up in the north here, and he'll try to listen, or if it's, I guess, probably pretty heavy stone door, so not much chance he'd be able to hear anything on the other side, but
I mean, you can still do a listen check. There are stone doors in this location, but in the long run, like stone transfers sound just as good as other things in many ways.
all right, that'll be an 8 for perception.
Listening at the door, it doesn't sound like there's anything happening on the other side.
So he will kind of look back towards the others and then go ahead and try to open this door.
It's filled with crates and barrels. You can see signs of different, like food, kind of like written on some of them. Seems to be like some of them are written in common, where they are like dried goods, like rice or like meals. Like oats and stuff like that, like meal kind of level of cereals. But yeah, in the long run, just looks like a bunch of kind of goods.
Gotcha. So he will yeah, he'll take like a cursory look around, but then if we clear this place out, maybe we could bring some folks back down and bring some of this to the surface. Sure, there's folks in town who could use it, what with the sieges and all. But not much use to us right now.
Roll a perception with disadvantage.
Be a 3. Sorry, 5.
Sounds good.
So he will go to open this second door. We're expecting more of the same here.
You can see like a pretty horrendous looking kitchen that just doesn't look well cared after. But it's just kind of like an otherwise like well stocked, but pretty like I don't know, uncared for location. Basically, is the best way to describe it. Things are used because there's plenty. People don't give it the care of those who have very little.
Jinx
Gotcha.
is gonna light up a cigarette.
And sorry, did in the first room, like the crates and barrels and stuff, like was there evidence that they're being like used, like some of them have been opened and
You could go back and give it like a better look, but you didn't really look through that all that good. That's why I had you do it at disadvantage. You just said like a cursory look.
okay. Yeah, he's just curious. Kind of a thought struck him kind of belatedly. So he'll go in and that's basically what he's looking to see, like if it looks like some of these like crates and barrels and such have been like opened and whether this cache of like goods is actually being used currently or if there's any sign of it.
Gotcha. Do another perception.
All right, 19 that time.
Gotcha. So some of the crates have been like opened up, and you can kind of see signs that they're like vaguely shut back up as like somebody like moved them back aside and maybe grabbed like a pound of like again, like oats or something, like some generic kind of like cereal, and kind of like threw it back into the pile and just kind of set stuff. But while you are searching, you do see that there is the signs of kind of like a split in the stone. That there appears to be like a room in the back left corner that is kind of like buried behind all of these boxes. As well, you do spot that the boxes are stacked on top of a table that has like some rope and some random tools on it.
What you looking for? You hungry, big fella?
Oh, don't know what I was looking for in particular, but seem to have found something. And he'll point out the table and also what appears to be like a potentially hidden room.
Kind of strange. And nobody had been in there anytime recently with all these boxes stacked up.
But Davros will inspect give the tools on the table a closer look, or are they just kind of like mundane?
Do you want any kind of tools?
He's already got Smith's tools and Mason's tools. Yeah, there's nothing really in particular that he would need.
Gotcha. Yeah, at that I'd say they're just tools.
Oh, just like a kind of rough glance at the area with like the potential door behind it. How long does it look like it would take us to like move stuff out of the way and potentially open that up?
Probably one of you probably take about like a half hour. If you had all three of you doing it, you could probably do it in between 5 and 10 minutes.
Gotta think they tried to conceal it for a reason. Worth a look.
I mean, I can't say we're particularly in a hurry since we kind of slept on it, but I mean, should we come back to it or you really think right now is the best time?
So I don't know what's back there.
I feel like it's worth checking out, like even if it wastes us a bit of time. But if they try to hide it, it might be important.
Yeah. So with that, Davros will go about starting to try and move away. Clear some of the crates and try to get access to the secret hidden door.
Is everybody gonna help?
Yeah, Gale is definitely gonna help.
Jinx will all, as always, lacklusterly help with manual labor.
If all of you guys could roll d8s, please.
Oh, why not move boxes around in a dungeon? I mean, this seems like a great idea. Valuable use of our time, obviously.
Got a 3 from me.
Looked like nobody rolled a 1, so you guys can move those crates to the side, kind of covering the table up a little bit more. You save yourselves some time as about 3 or 4 minutes go by, and you are able to get enough of the door kind of exposed where you can get your fingers like onto the crack and start to slide this door open. And while it slides outward some, it's like pivoting. So it like slides outward, but it also slides inward, kind of exposing this little small alcove of stone. And you can see inside of it, there is a chest. And on the top of the chest, kind of scratched into the wood, it says, "To sell."
Right. Davros is going to move forward. He will just kind of check it over, looking for any obvious kind of like physical traps or anything that he can see before he tries to open it.
Roll a perception.
9.
You do not see any signs of a trap, but there is a lock on this, so you're gonna have to try to pick it.
Gotcha. So he will he'll kind of I assume this probably small alcove, probably one person can be in there at a time, and he'll look to Jinx and Gale. Well, if the note on top's what we believe, it's probably worth something, but
Picking it up, you can feel a sizable amount of weight inside of it, and you can hear multiple things kind of moving around inside.
might be something in there we can use.
So I'm gonna give it a try at that lock.
If you would, yeah.
All right, yeah. So I'll try to give it a quick little pick. What do I add to it? Dexterity.
Yes.
21.
Struggling against the lock, it is just kind of slightly evading you. You feel like you're kind of like getting the last of these tumblers to kind of like set itself in, and each time you're kind of like twisting against your tensioning rod to try to get to that last tumbler. That like the moment you kind of get the tumbler in place, the tensioning rod always snaps loose and resets the other tumblers. It's just too hard for you to open. That's me
How
telling
heavy?
you need to roll a 22 to hit it.
I got you. And how heavy is it?
It's probably about like 20 or 30 pounds.
I was close, but I ain't gonna lie. I give it the old Bardic college try, and I mean, it'd take me a while, I think, to get in here. We could use a crowbar, or we could just take it with us, but I don't want to sit here all day messing with this thing.
I mean, if we want to give up any element of surprise, I could use a spell on it. It will be loud.
Yeah. Why don't we just leave it here for now? You know it's here. You can always come back and get it. And we'll just stack the boxes back up. Close it back up. But not sure I want to be lugging it around this whole time.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of work. Let's just leave it and come back. I don't think we need to try to conceal our way, right?
All right.
So yeah, with that, Jinx will just set the box back down, or the chest back down, and say, "All right, you just wait right here, little guy. We'll be back for you."
I mean, I guess Davros will, at the very least, close the kind of secret door as best he can again. But yeah, otherwise we'll leave the boxes kind of scattered. Just hope if someone comes by later, they don't put two and two together. It seems unlikely, but
See, there's two halls, each of them leading to a door at the end of the hall before you. One to the north, one to the west.
Davros is going to keep going just down this hall, so to the one to his west. And we'll go to try to open it.
The door is locked.
He'll look back towards Jinx and might need your help with this one.
Yeah, sure. I'll give it a try. Sounds like somebody doesn't want us around here. Uh, 19.
You're having a similar kind of difficulty where you're not able to even get to the final of these. I can't think of what they're called now. But you're just struggling with the lock and you cannot get it open. Tumblers. There we go. That was the word.
Maybe we'll find someone down here with a key.
Yeah, somebody's got this place secured pretty well. I mean, again, let's just look for a way that we can go without a lock. Stuff that we could take without a key.
Well, I imagine they'd be keeping Killian behind lock and key, but like I said, maybe we can find whoever's holding the key and get it from them.
I mean, if he's as valuable as we think he is, he's probably got a guard or two nearby as well, I would imagine. So, you're trying to usher in the apocalypse. You probably don't just leave 25% of your ingredients lying around, you know?
You can see from the wider staircase to the west leads up and into another hall, or there is a short hall before you that leads down south before it seems to split to the right and to the left, east and to the west.
Davros is going to move south into the hallway here.
You basically see that there are two doors here, one to the southwest, one to the southeast.
All right, he's going to try the southeast one first.
That door too is locked.
All right. He's going to go ahead and move over, try the southwest door.
As you open the door, you kind of see a room that is sort of like covered in splashes of not necessarily fresh blood, but it's also not extremely ancient blood. Much of it is still like coagulated and dried upon the walls, but it still retains much of its kind of crimson qualities versus having kind of turned black with time. And you can see four beds on the southern side of the room. Each of them kind of have like a number of like leather objects kind of strewn across them. Many of them you can kind of see like the actual like blood almost pooling from the ends of these little leather objects. You can see that they're all kind of like tiny whips that almost have like nails and like metallic kind of barbs at the end of them, as if these things have been used to draw blood. And then when they were set down, the blood just kind of like dried down into the beds that they were set on top of.
Okay, so kind of like what are they called? Like scourges
Yeah, they're flagellant weapons.
Gotcha. But no, aside from like the blood, no signs of like any like bodies or body parts.
Correct. Let's say also that the walls are covered in crude, chaotic symbols. I feel like, damn, I think this is the circle cult. Give me 1 second here. Of course, I don't have good enough notes on this one. Yeah, let's say this is kind of draws you back towards that cult that used like the ever kind of like winding down circles. Um, and I think that's actually where Jinx had his deepest kind of drop into the demon that he sort of summoned from within, that was kind of twisting towards him, was from one of these like circular summoning rooms. I think it was that pyramid that was filled with them, and at the center there was the statue of the god.
Yeah, so Davros is doesn't want to spend too much time in this room, but
Let me have everybody roll a perception check.
5.
13 for me.
And 14.
As Davros kind of like steps out of the room, Jinx and Gale, you hear footsteps from outside of this hallway. And I think this would actually be a perfect time for us to take a short break.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
All right, be back in a few. I'm back.
Excellent.
Yeah, hello. I'm here as well.
I'm back, guys.
Welcome back.
Thought I was the first one for a second there. I know you usually don't go too far. Yeah, I feel like I was getting pretty good rolls there and wasn't even able to pick those locks. I'm like, this could take a while. Maybe that's the jailer coming with the keys, though.
Oh, we could hope.
What would you like to do?
Oh, is Davros back?
He is indeed.
Oh, yep. Sorry, I'm here.
Oh, no, you're good. I didn't hear anybody but Chris. So we basically just hear some footsteps coming.
Indeed. He steps out, and basically from behind you, you can hear footsteps.
So I'll just hold my finger up to my lips vertically. So Davros, and give him like the shush. Then I'll just hold two fingers like towards the ground and do like the little wiggle motion like somebody's coming. And can we tell, does it sound like they're getting closer to us, or they're just out in like the main room, or?
You could take some time and listen if you'd like. But otherwise, like, you guys heard somebody for the first time, so theoretically they're getting closer to you. But if you let time go by, you can try to hear if they're getting closer still.
I'll just listen for a second, see what Chris does.
I mean, I'm kind of like, should we just try to ambush them? I mean, but yeah, I mean, we could listen to them first, because I do also, because we can't tell yet if there's multiple people, right? Or can we tell from the footsteps?
So my clue to you guys is that you hear footsteps. If you want to listen for more information, you are waiting here and not reacting. Does that sound correct to you?
And that seems fine to me, unless someone else wants to do something.
Oh, I think that was my inclination, is to try to get more information.
So let me have the two of you roll insight with proficiency if you have perception. Yeah, so it's just perception. Roll a perception for me.
That is a dirty 20.
And 12.
I think you probably have that there's 2 or 3 people. Might be 4 people. And as you're starting to kind of like center down on like this thought that there might be 4, they're definitely getting closer to you.
So I'll hold up 3 fingers, then 2 fingers, then 1 finger. Is it possible for me to get past Chris in this hallway, or not really?
You guys can roll for initiative.
Oh, I got the nat 1.
Nice. 12 for Jinx.
Yeah, it would be a total of 3.
And a 14 for Davros.
All right, Devros, you're going to be the first to react as you're basically watching like Jinx kind of like count down. Somebody like rounds the corner and basically bumps directly into Gale.
Yeah, so Davros is he was like looking at Jinx like counting down, but he wasn't sure what he was counting down to. But he will kind of like move back into the hallway. Can he try to like squeeze past Jinx and Gale? Is there enough room in this hallway?
I mean, you can squeeze through. It's a 5-foot hallway, though. It's difficult terrain.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So he will. Let's see. It was 5. Yes, I think he does have enough movement to kind of try to squeeze past Gale, and then yeah, he's going to assume whoever this is hostile, and just like drawing his blade as he's kind of squeezing past, and then just gonna swing out twice at the kind of the person as they're almost like bumping into Gale. Looks like a 15 and 24 to hit.
Both solid hits. They're not well armored people. You can kind of see that they're essentially walking around nearly nude. They've got like a bunch of tears at their flesh where you can see they have almost like chains kind of dangling across their bodies. What little armor they have comes from these chains that they almost have pierced through them. How much damage do you do?
Gotcha. So that will be 22 total. And that will be it for Davros's turn.
Jinx is going to be up next.
Okay, so I can't really get a great view from here, I guess, what's going on. I see Davros just start attacking something. I know there's multiples of them. So I guess I'm gonna come in between Chris or between Gale and Davros, and try to get a view of as much as I can as I sort of like cross over.
You can see there's like two people walking down the hallway.
Do they all look like they're sort of like in chains? Like, do I get the idea that these are like prisoners being led more than like all adversaries?
You can roll an insight or a perception here.
That's pretty low.
They seem to be naked people in chains. You can't really tell what's happening with them.
Okay, I'm gonna.
I guess really it probably would if that's your first thought. These probably are prisoners who are being like tortured.
Okay, I got you. I'm gonna try to. I think I'm gonna dash and try to get past everybody here.
You can't go through them.
Oh, okay, I can't. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna go. And there's not a ton I can do right here.
You could cast and finish going through past Davros, or you could just go backward. You could go forward. Like you could cast or go on, and you can either move on or go backward, but you can't stop there.
Okay, yeah, I'll just go to the other side here, and I'm gonna try this door.
You're gonna try to pick it. You can roll that dexterity.
Oh, I was just gonna say try it, see if it was open.
Oh no, it's locked.
So 21 to pick it.
Same thing. You're trying to be super quick. You're quite alarmed by how fast you start to get the tumblers in place, but it's just about at that moment where you think you're about to get the last tumbler in that the click that you hear of the tumbler going in happens at the same time as your tensioner kind of falls loose and you release the previous tumblers and it's still locked.
Damn, trapped like a rat. Those look like prisoners. There's got to be a guard there. That's it for me.
All right, the one kind of standing just on the other side of the hallway just kind of like looks down as you kind of remark of prisoners. And you're just going to hear she kind of like utters, "Fresh blood for the sacrifice. Allow them the pleasure of pain." And you'll see as she kind of like reaches backward and she kind of like tugs with a gout of blood. She's going to pull a chain from her back before she whips it across her friend's shoulder and into Davros. Should hit.
Yep.
Going to do 6 piercing damage as it stabs into you. And then she's going to pull back on it and do an additional 1 damage as she like pulls the chain back out of your flesh. Mm. And then it's gonna go to the one directly in front, as she's going to um pull from like the same chain that just has like 2 hooks like across her breasts, and she like pulls them each out as blood like pours forth. She is going to attack Davros with both of these hooks. What's your AC?
17.
Yeah, so the 15 will be a solid hit, but the second hook just kind of goes a little bit wide, and she like chinks it off of the stonework, and basically just kind of misses you as she crosses you with the hook. She's gonna pull 7 damage as she pierces it into you, and then she's gonna pull that out and do another 3.
Got it.
One of them's gonna cross, kind of doing the same thing, where he's going to pull a chain from his own flesh. Is going to whip across his friends here at Davros. That'll be the 18 that should just hit you.
Yep, 18 hits.
And it's going to do 11 on the initial, and then 2 is he pulls it out of you.
Okay.
And that goes to Gale.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Let's move in like in the same area where Davros is, and then I am gonna do Rhymes Binding Ice. Just at the 2nd level though. So that's gonna be a con save of 17 in a 30-foot cone out from me. I'm not sure how that works with the hallway.
Yeah, we'll say it's the 3 most immediate there.
So they will take 17 cold damage if they fail the con save. Otherwise, they'll take half, and if they fail, their movement is reduced to 0 as well.
Yeah, I think that'll be all 3 failing.
Yeah, then they're like stuck in ice and have 0 movement speed, and they have to use their action to break away the ice, or another creature has to like use their action to break away the ice to give them full movement again.
My bad. I just with a keystroke change where my displays show up as. All right, all fixed. How much damage did you do with that?
17, I think. Yeah, 17.
Oh, that was not what I meant to do. This one kind of pulls out one of his chain hooks and tries to whip it out towards Davros. It just kind of pings off of the wall and is not going to stick into your flesh as he tries to yank it towards him. With a bit of failure, he's going to step away. And that'll take us to Davros.
The Davros kind of bleeding from a few different spots. Just kind of spare a quick glance towards Jinx and not the prisoners we're looking for. And then he's going to Gale. He's going to be back. We need room to maneuver. But he's going to keep swinging at this one now kind of frozen in front of him. So you get 13 and a 19.
First strike's gonna kind of deflect off of some of the chains that are draped across her body. The second one will cut into her. Pretty much gonna be a kill, I think.
Be for 11 damage.
All right, gonna leave her pretty severely mortally wounded.
All right. He is going to go ahead. Bonus action, second wind. Okay, so it'll be 16 back. But he is going to kind of hold the line here. Want to retreat back behind Gale, so he will hold there.
Excellent. That'll go to Jinx.
Okay, so and yes, I'm pretty close confines here, so like holding the gun, think about it for a second, and then I'm gonna pull out old trusty. So I reach to my side and grab my boomerang, and I'm gonna just kind of chuck it left-handed around that corner and try to hit that front one and finish her off. 19 to hit.
Solid hit. I don't think even the boomerang could leave her alive.
What do you mean, even the boomerang? It's 9 damage, magical. Come on now.
I don't think even a cutting words could leave her alive.
It can go 2, so you never know. But yeah, that's my attack. And then Davros second winded. Um yeah, I feel like can I guess I pretty much use my action. Can I try to like see if she looked like she had a key on her at all, like just visually?
She's covered in chains. There's no reason for you to be able to spot a key without having actually searched her.
Okay. Yeah, that'll do it for me.
All right. So this one is going to pulling like the the chains back into her hand. You see as she's like kind of pulls them one into each hand. She's going to strike out. I think she's going to attack Gale.
Oh, but did she use her action to get
Oh,
rid of
my
the
bad.
ice?
Yeah, she's stuck in the ice. Yeah, so she's just going to whip her chain at you. The first attack is a 5, so she's going to fail. Yeah, I think the guy on the right is going to fling his chain down the little hall as well. And this will just be a Davros. Solid. And that'll take us to Gale.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna just move in like Davros area, and then I'm gonna fireball. Guess why not? Like in the above area, like north of them, so it hits. So we don't get hit by it, but they get. And that's just gonna be at like a regular 3rd level as well. So 17 dexterity saving throw. I'm gonna. Or 20 fire damage. Unless they save, then it's half, of course. But after that, I'm gonna follow Davros' suggestion and move back a bit.
How much did you say the fire damage was?
20. I still have it up.
I'm gonna put it out there that you see some of the ice that's kind of binding these people together fractured by using a concussive spell like the fireball. Not gonna do it on the first time you do that, but in the future, if you do a Rhymes Binding Ice and follow it with Fireball, I'm probably going to have things break free because of your spells.
I mean, I'm fine with that. Like, my plan when I first made the Rhyme Binding Ice was, like, keep 2 of them at least stuck in a line and hopefully get a 3rd one in a line to make a lightning bolt.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me that the fireball would like free them.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
I'm not gonna just do it here, but you did a good chunk of freeing them with that spell.
yeah, and, like, that's perfectly reasonable because that makes sense.
With that, we're going to. This one's pushing in. He is going to strike out with both hands at Davros. And failed miserably as he's like just going like balls to the wall, all out trying to attack you, and it's just enough that he's like in this confined hallway, and each time he like reaches out, you're seeing as he like smashes his hand into the wall and just reflects off to where by the time he's like dragging this hook towards you, it's like the backside of the hook the way it reflects off the wall, and he's just like poking you with the blunt end of what otherwise could have been a pretty horrendous and also probably trying to think what the lockjaw inducing thing would be, but otherwise ineffective. It's going to go to you, Davros.
Yeah, I don't think there's tetanus shots in Tolus, but probably use one after all these rusty
There are
chains.
lesser restorations.
Yeah, so Davros is going to, he kind of like threw his arm up at like the, the Gale's fireball. Then like the fire didn't hit him, and then kind of as he was like bring his hand away, managed to, just dodge out of the way of these chains. Going to retaliate, swing twice at this guy in front of him now. And actually, I think he might go ahead and action surge as well. See, first 2 attacks. Yeah, it's a 9. So 18 and 20 something.
Yeah, both of those are solid hits. Again, these people are naked. The only armor they have is effectively the chains they have stabbed through their body. That is horrendous rolls.
Yeah, that's not good damage. That's 16 total for the 2 strikes. And then, yeah, he's going to action surge to take 2 more. Should be 2 more hits. A little better for 21 more total.
Yeah, like these people are filled with wounds, and like as you're like cutting into him, you're also cutting like out like massive chunks of flesh because like the chains are almost like dug deep into their body. They're not necessarily like hanging, they're almost pulling tension. So like when they move their muscles, you can see like the chains kind of dig deeper and draw like a little bit of blood. So when you like cut into some of these like body parts, the very like attempted use of that muscle then pulls that whole group free, as the muscle like that you cut away is pulled under tension from another muscle, and just gaping wounds of his flesh are kind of shown before you, as like meat hooks are kind of like hanging from him, as if he's carrying around. Was your father a butcher? Because it looks like you can't. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, these guys are, that guy specifically is torn up. He is heavily wounded. Um, that will go to Jinx.
Okay, so or realistically, can I get a shot off from where I am at that guy without putting Davros in like horrible danger? I mean, I'm shooting like liquid lightning bolts, so
I think we said with that gun, if you roll a 1, you can hit your friends. And Davros is definitely hittable where he is.
okay, so Jinx is just gonna say, don't worry, Davros, it's not meant for you. And I'm gonna shoot him. Not Davros, the guy.
He tried. He tried.
He's like overly cautious and it goes right over your shoulder. And he'll just say, it'd help if you move next time. And then I'm gonna do with that, that'll be a bardic inspiration for him.
Don't you feel inspired?
You feel like the little like when you rub your sock on the ground and like the static electricity, you feel that kind of like surging from my like shot that went right over your shoulder. And that's it for my turn.
Alright, one behind dude who's like falling apart as chunks of meat are falling off of him. She is going to leap like on top of him, up over into Davros, as she's going to try to bring down the meat hooks down into you, Davros. And she's going to try to grapple you. I'd like for you to roll an athletics.
Okay, can I use my brace ability to try to get a swing at her as she kind of does this, gets into my range?
100%.
All right.
You can even have advantage on. I mean, you're going to hit her anyways, but fish for a crit here, because she is putting herself all out there for a solid slay.
All right, no crit, but we'll hit for 20 damage. And
You
then,
guys see.
sorry, you said athletics? Sorry.
Yeah. Doing athletics.
22.
Fucking kidding me? You guys see as she like leaps over and on top of Davros, trying to like smash her meat hooks down into him. He's basically going to like cut off one of her arms, and the chain just kind of like flops down to the side. She's going to land on top of you here, Davros, and you guys are currently sharing this space. If you end your turn there, you are going to take a d6 damage. She as well has the same problem here, as she basically is wounded by finishing this turn with you. And then he's gonna push forward, and he's gonna try to whip his chain out at Davros as well here.
Yeah.
All right, he's gonna do 19 piercing damage to you as the chain sinks into you, and then as he pulls it out, he's gonna do another 7.
Okay, got it.
I wish I had thought about that as he's trying to pull you out from your friends like I did last time when I failed so miserably. But that's not what I was thinking here. So nice, solid, like digging deep as he like pulls that out from you, and like there's like spouts of arterial blood. And that's gonna go back around to Gale.
All right, I'm gonna move up a bit. Then I'm gonna, like the one that just tried to jump on Davros. They all have chains all around them and things, so I'm gonna use
Covered in chains.
shocking
Chains
grasp.
stabbed into their bodies.
I'm gonna use shocking grasp, and it says I have advantage on attack roll if they're wearing armor made of metal. Or I'm guessing like would this count as armor made of metal?
I would give you advantage on the fact that she is essentially prone, having failed to attack Davros. But yeah, I can kind of consider this metal armor.
Yeah, she's prone. So yeah, and let's see. That would be a 21 to hit.
Solid hit.
14 lightning damage.
Describe how your lightning kills her, please.
Oh, I guess I like reach down to like grasp with both my hands on part of like her chains and just guess. Oh, how to say this? Like unlimited power. Star Wars Palpatine, but just like touched right through her. Basically cooking her.
Just like reaching into both, like onto both sides of her heart, and you're just like screaming unlimited power as you fry her heart.
Yep. And then I'm gonna risk an opportunity attack and just step back a bit again, so that Darius could move if he wants to.
I should be able to hit you there with a 25.
Yeah, definitely hits.
I'll do 10 piercing on the first go, and then I guess he can't really pull it out. So yeah, I'm gonna actually say that you are um I feel like grapple is too far. Let's just say I've got a chain inside of you right now.
Yeah, so he can like pull it out on his turn or whatever he wants.
Yeah, because I was kind of thinking of it as like a bonus action that they pull the chain out. That was part of why I did it separately. But I also thought it sounded cool that they're like using their like own meat hook chains as weapons too. So he is actually the guy going next. Yeah, I'm actually gonna say he's gonna pull another chain from himself, and he's gonna try to fling this at you to pull you back to him. So we're gonna go for. You could do an athletics or an acrobatics here. This is for Gale.
And it's gonna be acrobatics. So that's a 16.
Gotcha. So he's just gonna like pull you, like sliding across the room, as he like drags you back in. And now I'm gonna say, Gale, you are grappled and restrained.
All right.
And then Davros.
All right, so Davros, as like when Gale came up and like he saw like the crackle in the fingers, knew it was coming. He must have probably would have had to do some fancy footwork because he doesn't want to be touching the chains when Gale electrocutes the woman who's kind of like falling on top of him. But then as he sees Gale getting kind of pulled back by this other guy, he is going to like, oh no, you don't, and going to yeah, I guess he'll swing twice because I guess he's just going to swing twice at this guy. Should be one hit.
Yeah, solid hit there.
Oof, bad damage again. For 8.
He is severely wounded, but that is not enough to kill.
Yeah. And I can't really like try to push him back or anything. Yeah, that's gonna be it for Davros. Oh wait, had Jinx given me Bardic Inspiration? Is it too late to try and use that?
To what? Like make that 2 work?
Yeah, because it would have been it's an 11, and then if I
You can go for it.
okay, I forgot he gave it back to me. Nope. That's only going to add a 1, so that's only a 12.
Yeah, that'll miss.
Like Static's got like your hair standing up on edge. You're like, I'm not sure that actually helped.
Like I just almost got electrocuted and hit by a ray gun. So yeah. But maybe maybe he like almost kind of like just like jerked like kind of subconsciously expecting to get fried or something, and yeah, he just missed this guy. But yeah, that's it for Davros.
Davros, then it will go to Jinx.
All right, so I'm kind of stuck here, like in this corner. Obviously, carrying my gun, and I got some wires hanging out of me and everything. But I am pretty athletic slash acrobatic. Is there any way, without like some kind of running start or something, that I can like try to like parkour from like wall to wall to try to get out into the open area?
I'm gonna say no. You can try to kill that guy and take his space, but you've got to get rid of the enemies before you can get into their space.
Okay, there's no way to be able to like go over top them in this like kind of cramped area.
No. You could
Uh,
climb with your gloves, but you're not going to be able to do anything this turn.
okay. Yeah, I actually kind of like that idea. So yeah, I sort of like crouch down for a second and then like kind of parkour off the space behind like Davros on the wall, and then I like jump forward onto the side wall and activate the gloves to like stick to the wall and like crawl around over the top then. So I can get to like right there. Is that okay?
Gotcha. Roll the gloves check.
Natural 20.
Solid.
Okay, sweet. And then I'll just like drop down next to this guy and just kind of like whatever it is, like where you kind of like dust off your hands, like rub my hands together, and I'll just say to him something clever that I can't think of right now.
Something a bard would say in a clever moment of time.
Something extremely clever and mildly intimidating. And then is Davros super fucked up right now? What's his condition? He okay? He's not like bloodied, is he?
He's not quite bloodied yet. Nope.
I'd like to imagine that Davros is in fact severely bloodied right now. It's just not his blood.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm like, well, he really, really hurt or fine. I can't tell. He's covered in blood though. But yeah, that's it for my turn. Oh, and thank you for the recommendation on the gloves.
Yeah, I'm never trying to tell you guys what to do, but when I can think of the items that do break situations, I'm not trying to like hold that back from you either.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I'm totally good using up my action to like get over there. I just couldn't think of how to do it.
So let's see. I think this goes to the guy that you just dropped down next to. Yeah, he's not even going to notice Jinx at this point. He is going to leap towards Gale and make his attacks while Gale is wrapped up in the chains of the other guy. What? Are you kidding me? First one's a big old whiff. Second one, a solid hit here. He's going to do.
Davros is going to try to partially intercept.
Gotcha. Yeah, he's doing 11 and then 12 total, so I think that's entirely interceptable.
Okay, yeah.
So he'll take
14.
2. Oh, 14? Yeah, so
Yeah, it's
you
D10
kind of
plus 4.
deflect like the entirety of the attack. He's now going to step back. So you can. Oh, wait, no. That's your opportunity attack. Excellent.
Yep, that's my reaction to this. Yeah.
Does Gale have a weapon? Do you want to opportunity?
I mean, I have Warcaster, so I can use like a cantrip, I think.
You are next in line, so do you want to blast him with a cantrip for basically free?
I will. I mean, I'm gonna use Shocking Grasp because yeah.
Dirty bastard. You do not get a chance to opportunity attack him. That was a joke. You have advantage on the attack.
Okay. Oh, But how would this work? Because I'm restrained, right?
Oh yeah. What is it? You're at disadvantage when you're restrained. Um, no, you're good. It's just dexterity saving throws at your disadvantage. Oh wait, it does say attack rolls. Creatures' attack rolls have disadvantage, so it's just a straight roll. You have advantage and disadvantage. It's just straight.
Okay. I don't
Solid.
think.
Like I said, you do not get to attack him, and then it's your turn if you want to attack him.
Yeah, I'm gonna like, because I don't think I can roll my way out of this. So you just Shocking Grasp at the one holding me. So I guess I'm gonna take the damage as well, because I am in metal shape.
Look, as far as I'm concerned, I think it would be perfectly fine to say that you just kind of like maniacally laugh at this guy and shock him with the chains that he has plunged into you. You can 100% roll the damage and auto hit this guy, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, I'll do that then.
Because had I really thought about it, everything about these guys are not very effective against somebody who has shocking grasp.
That would be 10 lightning damage.
Yeah, it sounds good. So you can just like burn him up as like his own chains that he's holding on to are enough to like burn through his hands, and you just see his like stumps of like bone, like the skin has almost like melted off of his body, like as at his hands, as if it was butter, and you can just kind of see like the charred remains of the flesh there, and essentially bones. Like his phalanges are just like sitting there, like evidence. That guy is toast in more the ways than one. If you are done, Gale, it's gonna go to Davos.
Yeah, I was done there.
All right. So Davros is going to he falls. He's going to move forward and just swinging twice at this last guy here. 14 is the low one.
Gotcha. Will you roll 2 more d20 for me? What was the low one, first or second of those two?
First one. So it would be a
Gotcha. So re-roll 2d20, and keep track of which is the first one of these re-rolls, please. Tell me it's the 20.
no. So it would be the first one. So it would be a 5, I guess, a 13, and then a 10 and a 20.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So this guy is quite literally diving into your blade as you swing at him. It sounds like the first attack missed both times, but it like by the time you're like swinging out at him, he's like leaping forward, and you are just cutting right through his spine as his head is just lopped off in a fluid motion, and his body falls to the ground. Can almost see him like still kind of saying, as he like leaps forward into your blade, "Bring on the pain." And his body's just like in that kind of, or his lips are in that like pursed moment of like the P of pain.
That was unexpected. And Davros going to kind of move out into the main room and kind of give a listen to see if maybe now that we've dealt with the immediate 4, do we hear any more footsteps or any other signs of anyone else maybe potentially approaching, kind of drawn by the sounds of the fight?
Roll a perception.
21.
Let me have all 3 of you roll a d4.
Got a 2.
4 for me.
And a 3.
Gotcha. As you kind of like pull like a moment of like silence and you start to listen, you can hear that there's like a commotion to the north and there's something coming from the south. Doesn't sound like anybody's approaching you, but you can hear at least something that there's people to the north of you and there's people to the south.
Can I? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Can I, like, normally, Jinx would be like hesitant to do any kind of work or like, get like real gory or whatever. But can I do an investigation check? He's gonna go all in on trying to find the key amongst the pile of mutilated corpses.
Yeah, you can roll an investigation here.
He's like a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. He's like deciding whether or not he should take the gloves off before like digging through all these bodies, and he's like, "Fuck it," leaves them on. So 22 to find a key.
You're like searching around on these people, kind of like feeling around for like anything that seems to be sort of abnormal. Takes you a moment of like patting down on them before you kind of like allow it to register in you that these people are effectively like walking around nude. They don't really have any places for holding keys on them. And yet you've also tapped on somebody's hip and can kind of feel something that seems a little bit abnormal. Seems like one of these people has something kind of embedded inside of their hip if you wanted to cut it out.
Yeah, I'll cut it out.
Roll a D100 for me.
39. I'm doing a con check too to see if I'm puking all over while I'm doing this.
Roll a D4.
It's an 11, so I'm like throwing up on my cigarette as I'm smoking. A 3. Smoke's like going in my eyes. I got puke in my mouth. I'm like cutting into this person. Don't even know what the hell I'm trying to get out.
All right, so you like start to like cut open this person's like hip, and you're like sliding out this tiny piece of metal and almost starting to think that it's just some sort of metal they like stabbed into themselves, or maybe like a sword or a blade like broke off in their hip before you kind of like draw it out and can kind of see like this is like a metal blade indeed, but it seems to be kind of like folded on itself as if you can kind of open it a little bit, and where you start to open it, the like curve of the blade is kind of like leveled over itself, and you don't really understand like where it's going to open from because it seems like one piece of metal, but you can kind of like start to spread it and it gets a little bit wider, and spread it a little bit more and it gets a little bit wider. Roll a perception check at advantage, and then Gail, can I have you roll an Arcana check?
Got a 23 on the Arcana.
And a 18.
So as you're starting to spread this, Jinx, you're kind of noticing. Did you relight a new cigarette to get the puke out of your breath?
Not yet. There's just too much going on right now.
Gotcha. So you can kind of feel like the almost like stench of the vomit kind of like wafted fast past your face, um as there's kind of like a fresh kind of like not real fresh air but like a stagnant air that then starts to cross it, and you're no longer smelling like the puke that's like right there, and you can feel like a little bit cooler. There's almost a flow of air as you spread this piece of metal a little bit wider yet, and it's almost like a piece of pie, kind of as a shape in your hand, and it's still spreading, and it's still spreading. And Gail, you can start to recognize that as he's spreading this fan, this is starting to create a magical effect. He is casting gust of wind as he starts to spread this fan. And by the time you get it like fully extended, it's about a like half circle, and it looks very much like a Chinese like fan, like a paper fan, but it was once just that one tiny little piece of metal that was like slightly kind of folded into almost like the like bend of a propeller, and it just expanded out into this incredibly wide fan. Singular piece of metal. It weighs almost nothing, and if you hold it to your face, like if you direct it towards you, it creates a nice small little breeze. Can you also please roll a d20, Jinx? No, not a d20. Oh my.
Oh, you're good. Just tell me what to roll.
No, no, you're good.
Oh, my bad. I
Yeah,
was like so quick. It's a
that
5.
actually is fine. Yeah. Um, so yeah. Um, you can add this to your self from D&D Beyond. Wind fan. Technically, you cannot use it again until the next day. It's by spreading it, you've already used it.
Okay, sounds good. I'll like look over my shoulder at Gale, like kind of give him a quick like what the hell, and then I'll just kind of wipe it off on my pants and stow it in my little leather belt pack.
Oh no, this thing doesn't really need wiped off. By the time you go to like slide it back in on itself, it's not even like it's covered in blood.
Yeah, so I'll definitely seem like a little perplexed, but obviously know like something's going on here. Not quite understanding what it is, but it ain't a key, but it's something.
Yeah, I think in the long run, you guys can probably kind of figure out like these are not necessarily the people who are going to have a key to anything in particular.
Yeah, and I think as like Jinx is kind of searching through that, said heard some stuff from both the north and the south. So I think Davros had been kind of moving over towards these stairs here.
Yeah, by the time you make it closer to the stairs, you can definitely confirm some of the noise is coming from the south. There.
So he'll like Davros will look back towards Jinx and Gale and just kind of like nod his head down, and then are these stairs leading up or down? No, but he'll start kind of start moving south.
I think now you're climbing up them. Yeah, yeah. Now you're on the high side of it. When you look at the shadow, you can kind of see the shadow is like Gale is lower than you, right?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and he's going to Davros will continue to proceed. I guess moving more cautiously now. Continue down towards the south. As he reaches this kind of like intersection, can he tell is it still coming from south of where he is, or is it potentially coming from? I guess
Getting to that point, you can tell it's south.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he'll keep going. And then kind of like bringing his blade to the ready, he'll kind of almost like just move around the corner, almost like
Are you joining up with them, Jinx? Are you holding off?
Oh, yep. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be behind them. I think I've got the light, so I'll stay pretty tight.
So by the time you get around that corner, you'll notice that there's a door there, and the noise is coming from the other side of the door.
Okay. So as he reaches this door, can he make out any more details of like what the commotion is? Is this like it's not like fighting or voices or anywhere to tell?
Roll an insight.
Oof, that is a nat one. I will take my inspiration, but that's going to be a 6 for insight. So assuming he's not really able to make anything else out, he will move to try to open the door.
All right. So when you open that door, you are going to see a small room with like two beds and a couple of chests. Basically, the room is kind of like split in two, and you can kind of see like each side is almost identical to the other in that there are again like beds, like a small chest, like in each one. You can see that the chests are like locked with padlocks. There's um, a table covered with like some food and drink, and that's probably the one spot that kind of like isn't necessarily mirrored is like the table of food and drink. Inside of the actual room, you can basically see that there is a Litorian, like a lion folk, and then a lizard folk, and they are basically like almost grappling each other, like fighting in the center of the room, right as you open the door. And I'm going to drop them in a second here. Which also might be a solid place to say if you guys need to take a quick break, you can take a quick break here.
I'll be right
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, I'll take a couple minutes. I'll be back.
Yeah, I'll stay right here.
Okay, I'm back.
Excellent.
We still waiting on Justin?
Theoretically.
So randomly, I was watching like one of the other content creators that I always watch, and I just so happened to like meet her at Adepticon, and we like cut up for a while. I like basically like just hung out for like 20 minutes, just cutting up, and then ended up while I was doing that charity event when I was painting the Sentinel. She ended up coming over with like her roommate, and they like sat down next to me, and we were like cutting up whatever for like maybe an hour or so while I was painting, and her roommate was like painting as well, and I didn't realize it, but apparently she had like videoed part of like when we were hanging out. So in her recent video about Adepticon and Golden Demon, which I think she got third place in the Golden Demon, which is pretty awesome. So she actually won a Golden Demon, I believe.
Yeah,
But
that's fucking awesome.
yeah, it's fucking her piece was fucking amazing. But in the actual video, in her video is like part of the video she took of me. So I was like, "Oh shit, exposed."
All right, that's the first time. Like, did she actually call out that you're Warhammer Man?
No, no, I'm not even sure if she knows. I don't even know if I said that
Oh, okay, I got
specifically. But it was just so random. I was like, "Oh shit." Like it was just crazy like watching someone else's video that I've been watching for like literally years, getting to meet them and then them deciding to put like even if it was just a quick little clip of me in her video, I was like, "Yo, that's fucking awesome." But yeah, her actual golden demon piece was fucking amazing. I was like, "Holy shit, dude. I did not know you had like skills like that." Cuz one of the other guys I watch actually won gold in that category. Or no, wait. Oh wait, actually, you know what? I think maybe he might have got bronze and she got runner up maybe. But regardless, they were like
right.
fucking amazing.
Well, I feel like one thing too, though, that I'm always curious about is like, did somebody paint their Golden Demon entry in 5 hours? Did somebody paint their Demon entry in 120 hours? Like,
So John Ninjan, the one guy who ended up getting bronze,
oh,
he
word, okay, I know Ninja.
documented yeah, he documented his, like, process over, like, 2 months or whatever of, like, painting, and he's, like, in the, like, clique, one of the top creators, like, good friends with a bunch of other, like, of the best painters in the world. So he got like a bunch of feedback and changed stuff, and like he did like 5 or 6 videos on it. So he kind of got to see the progress as he went. Because last year he did it and he like it just was kind of a disaster. So this year getting to like watch along and everything and just how awesome the piece was like cool as hell. She did only like a follow-up video afterwards where she basically like shows the process and like everything. And that's the one that like I was actually in. But it was just awesome seeing, I don't think she specified how many hours, but I think he said he put something like 150 hours into it, which is
Yeah, that's
really cool.
crazy.
Yeah, it's, like, really cool, but, like, it's crazy because if you think about it, like, even at, like, 20 bucks an hour, you're talking about, like, 3 grand, and you could probably sell it for, like, a decent amount of money when it's done, but, like, if you just put that time into, like I think, like, 150 hours, I can probably complete, like, that, like, $600 commission, like, you know what I mean? But also, you get a once in a lifetime like trophy. You still have the piece at the end. You get a bunch of like notability and like credibility in the space. So it's hard to like kind of quantify it, but it's just crazy to think.
I mean, that's one of the things I've wondered about is like if you actually like entered Golden Demons, how much that could increase like the value of your commissions to be a Golden Demon painter.
Yeah, for sure. I think also it's the same thing with like if I start hitting the tournament scene and doing well, like, I'm gonna go for number 1 Deathwatch, player in the world, and, I'm pretty sure that will give me, like, mass credibility, like, in the space, because 'cause you're like, "Oh, this is, like, the worst ranked army right now out of 25 plus factions, and I'm, like, the best player at it." Like, I think it's the same type of thing where you're like, "Oh, you have street cred now." But, yeah, there's definitely something to, like, painting and then, like, gaming street cred when it comes to the space.
Yeah, I definitely think that like gaming, especially if you actually were doing more. I mean, it's going to bring people to you regardless. If you're the number one Death Watch, especially when they're ranked so poorly, I feel like that's like a guaranteed it's going to bring people to you.
Exactly.
But
Everybody
like,
else is
I'm talking about like quantify that money, like how much more would your commissions go to, even if you kept the same scale where you're like, yeah, I just try to always have so much business in the pipeline, so I have to increase my prices to reduce the people who are buying commissions so I can keep them coming out normally. Like, how much would that create? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, just in like every listing, it just says like Golden Demon winner. Like immediately, like it just gives you like more credibility and like justifies you charging a bit more, I think for sure. But I mean, it's definitely one of my goals. That was pretty much my goals going into this year was to like expand and build like actual street cred. So like going to Adepticon, I got to meet a ton of creators, got to see like the process, like, and now I feel like I'm set up basically for those two things.
I'm back, by the way.
Welcome back.
Yeah, and I'm here as well.
All right, so as you open up the door, you see the lion folk, you see the lizard folk. The two of them are kind of like fighting each other, like grappled, and I need everybody to roll initiative.
9, or no, sorry, 8.
13 for Gale.
24.
Oh, before we get too far into it, Justin, did I actually tell you, or I guess my brother Justin Jinx, did I tell you that I finally got the paperwork started to go home? I'm going to start
Oh
working from home
shit.
soon.
Dude, that's awesome. Congratulations. Hard work pays off.
I shouldn't have said that because I definitely had your initiatives in mind, and then I said it and I forgot it. Jinx, you said 24.
Oh yeah, I got all the initiative. 24.
Gale was 13 or 16.
13.
And then Davros was 9?
8. I said 9, but it's 8.
Dude, like straight up, I was like, I'm pretty sure I know their initiatives. Then I was pretty sure I forgot all of them. So the fact that I guessed like that, wow, I'm pretty impressed at how like blinded, but also still I remember.
Impressive. Most impressive. But you are not a Jedi yet. That was a reference to Chris's unlimited power comment from earlier.
Keeping a theme for this session.
I
That's
definitely
right.
like frying somebody with unlimited power.
Oh, I
I
love
don't know.
it.
Does that count as like, is Chris finally going into his descent into like evil? Like, I almost had to force Malchin into it, and like, I kind of felt bad because I mean, it was your choice, like that it was a vampire, but you didn't know what that was going to do. Is you choosing to say unlimited power as you kill somebody? Does that make you start becoming dark side?
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Good answer. Good answer. This is going to start off with. I feel like I can't give it to you, Jinx. You're kind
Oh
of
no, I'm
around the
definitely in the
corner.
back. Yeah.
Um, yeah, this is gonna like force you guys again to suffer through the problems of this corridor. Um, yeah, the lion is going to kind of release the. Oh wait, no, damn it, it's the lizard folk. They both have L's, and I even drew the C for cat person, and it looked like an L. All right, the lizard folk is going to kind of release the lion, and kind of like running towards Davros. Yeah, it's gonna take it. It's going to take that space, which technically probably means the spaces are more properly that. And Jinx, you can decide whether you're in this space or in that space. But you do have to pick one. What kind of armor does Davros wear?
Studded leather. Magical.
Yeah, so the lizard guy like releases the cat and immediately like pushes through, and as he's stepping towards you and you hear like the stomps of his feet across the ground, this thing clearly has the mass almost of 2 or 3 of you all combined. As he's stepping forward, you hear it's a creatures are not welcome here. And it's going to reach out for your sword and start to incant as it reaches for the blade. I'm going to miss horribly. And it's going to go to Gale.
Is that gonna ask? What did it say? Because I couldn't hear it exactly.
Do you speak Draconic?
I do not.
Yeah, by the time it went to cast its spell, you would not know what it said. Does anybody speak Draconic? I don't believe so, but
Not Davros, no.
No, just common and elvish.
Yeah,
I think one of the sad things is all of you guys, I think, are like common, elvish, and dwarvish.
yeah.
Bill would have known what it was saying,
Too soon?
but
I mean, that's not necessarily true. Just because they're both lizard folk could have had different dialects.
I definitely think it would be far more interesting to invent other lizard dialects.
Yeah, but Gale, as he like saw it reach out for Darrow's weapons, he's gonna throw out a firebolt at it. You want me to do it like a regular roll or disadvantage because we're like kind of cramped in here and I have Davros in front of me?
You're not actually in combat, you can do a regular roll.
Okay. Yeah, that's a 26 to hit.
Solid hit. Oh, yeah.
Or oh, wonderful damage. 7 fire damage.
After Gale will be Davro.
all right. So Davros kind of manages to keep his blade out of this thing's hand and is going to kind of like bringing it back and then swinging twice at it as it comes up to him. I will use my inspiration to give myself advantage on the first attack. So that should hit with a 24 for 13 damage on the first one. And then a 16.
Excellent.
And then if the 16 hits, that would be for another 9.
Oh, yeah, my bad. I wrote down 16 damage. Yeah, but that was a hit. So,
Yeah, what I think I said 13 for the first one. I think it would be, so I think it's 22 total.
yeah, I just added 7 health to it. So, should be all good there. Anything else? Otherwise, it's going to go to the cats.
That will be it for Davros. So I have one of my maneuvers is a pushing attack, but I imagine I wouldn't be able to push it like through another enemy, so it would have to have like some open space for me to be able to really use that.
I'm down to let you push it to one of the sides so you can take its space to get you all closer to taking the room.
I might do that next turn then.
And all right, so as the cat kind of like reacts to the lizard like releasing it, there's like a moment of it just kind of like hissing out at the lizard, like as if it's like recoiling to like leap forward and attack before it recognizes that like the lizard's starting to incant something, and you hear it start to say, "There's never magic." And then it's going to kind of twist itself towards you, and in an instant, you see as it brings down one of its paws onto the ground, and you see it smashes its paw into the ground, and there's a ethereal paw that kind of shows up right next to Gale that slashes across his face. Probably gonna miss with a 7. Son of a bitch! I can't roll for shit. And then yeah, that's gonna be a 12 to hit. Yeah, that's nothing on Gale. And then you're gonna see as it like claws into the stonework. You see as like there's just a bunch of tiny little cats that start to like flick up around it. Just these tiny little bright lights, and each one of these cats starts to run circles around this creature before all of you feel like slashes at you as these cats encircling the big cat all start to kind of like coming in and out of the stonework, just attack you as they kind of move past. It's gonna go to Jinx. Will you make a wisdom saving throw, please, Jinx?
It's an 8.
I think I'm gonna do 3d8 with this. Yeah. Uh, I don't think the damage matters, but you're gonna kind of have the same senses with some of these other ones. Like some of these cats are almost like fiery, like demonic cats. Some of them are almost just kind of like gray voids in space, and others are almost like radiant white, blinding light. And they're just each kind of individually attacking you. You'll take a total of 15 radiant, necrotic, and force damage from these creatures.
Affirmative.
While you are within 15 feet of that creature, those cats are like kind of walking around. So you can push yourself back around, I think, the next corner to get away from them. I think. I think like if you went back to that space, you'd be out of the way of the cats. But basically where you're at here, the cats are still kind of coming through attacking you. And your
Okay,
movement
I
is
gotcha.
halved while you're inside there.
And movement's halved.
Yep, movement is halved.
And it is my turn.
Yeah, my bad. That was the start of your turn.
Oh no, you're good. I thought it was. I was just making sure. Okay, I will go ahead and do a, let's see, kind of a weird angle right there. Do I have like vision from where I'm at around the corner or not really?
It's kind of one of those things. You can move into Gale or Davros's space, but you have to move out of it. If you kind of like, I don't know, this is kind of where it sucks, like how the walls are breaking up this spot, but you can see the first lizard from like beside Gale.
Okay, I'll just kind of like just say to Davros, stand aside 1 second, buddy. And I'll just kind of like jam myself into the space with him, and you'll hear like the static start building up, and of the electricity, and then I'm actually gonna shoot past the lizard, hopefully, at the cat. So it should be a 19 minus whatever cover.
Gotcha. 19's good enough to hit.
It's like the worst roll ever. 10 electric damage. And then it's got to roll a con save, and it's 15. And if that was a fail, it's disadvantage on attacks, checks, and saves for 1 round.
So that was specifically for save to maintain the Spirit Guardian. But that's still gonna fail on the disadvantage. And I've decided it is not ethereal cat paws, it is just the jelly beans of the underside of a cat's paw.
Awesome.
So does that reduce the damage?
No, it's still a spiritual weapon.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding because they're so soft and cuddly. All right. Okay. So that was my attack, and then did you say the spirit guardians drop too?
Yeah, guardians drop.
Well, I'll still move back just in case it like recasts it or something. And then yeah, so that was a shot, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do a another bonus action, and I'm gonna just say, "Let the light wash over me," and I'm gonna heal myself.
After Jinx is the lizard. Oh wait, how much did you do to the cat? 10?
Yeah, it was 10, and I healed for 7.
All right. The lizard is going to like smash forward into Davros, kind of like slamming his shoulder into him, as it like brings a paw down like one of its front legs, kind of down, like almost getting like level on the ground, before it's going to drag up the void from beneath your feet and smash down with both of its hands like in front of you, and you're going to see as snakes just start to flow from the stone, as if the stone at your feet has started to turn uh into like living creatures instead of being this actual like stone floor. Everything just starts wriggling and writhing about. uh Everything is difficult terrain, where between go oh, it's actually like double difficult terrain, because it basically makes every foot of movement cost 4 feet.
Okay, so it costs 20 feet of movement for each square while we're in here.
Oh my gosh, this is 100-foot radius. That was not the spell that I thought it was. um yeah, I'm gonna just make yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with it how it is, with just that like that 20-foot cube basically starting to like writhe with snakes. So all of you, basically it's 20 feet of movement to move a single square right now. And that's gonna go to Gale.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna help to. Oh, that's concentration thing. I'm gonna use. Oh, magic missile at 2nd level on the lizard. So that's a total of 12 force damage. No, that's wrong. 16. There's a +1 as well.
With each hit like slamming into him from each to the same place, you just see like as he's kind of like chanting up towards you, his voice kind of falling back to common, and he's just saying, "Cursed user of the arcane, your magics don't belong in this place, more ancient than your people." And that'll go to Davros.
Oh, and sorry, I would move. Because I can move like 1. Or can I move?
Yeah, you can move like 1 space without having to dash.
Yeah. So that's what I would do, just to give some area for Darius to move on, even if it's not a lot.
All right, so Davros is going to kind of like he feels kind of these like writhing snakes, sort of like trying to like slither around. He was going to try to he's going to swing at the lizard folk and try to kind of like follow through with his shoulder to kind of push him back into the room with his first attack. Uh, 25 should hit.
25 does hit.
That'll be for 16.
Now I see the spell that I was thinking of casting. 16 damage, gotcha.
Yeah, and I guess I'll try to push him like kind of into the like to the like southwest, so into that.
Gotcha. Is there just a save on that? Is it like a contested or?
Oh right. Must make a strength saving throw DC 16. And then it moves if it fails. Oh, passes though.
As you push into him, he just stands strong.
Yeah, I feel like Davros probably can't get too much momentum either with the snake, so he will just kind of get bounced back and then take his just second swing at the lizard folk. That will be a 13.
13's going to miss.
All right. Yeah, I think he's gonna hold his ground again. So that will be it for him.
All right. The Torian is going to strike out at Gale with her cat paw. Should be a solid hit.
Sorry, did you say was that a Gale?
Yeah, Gale.
Okay, is that something I can try to intercept?
I don't know. What's interception do?
I think it might have to be a melee attack.
I think spiritual weapon is a melee attack.
Oh, it just says with an attack you can use your reaction. Okay, yeah. So I will try to kind of get my blade back to soften the blow. We'll reduce the damage by 6 that time.
So that's gonna do 5 damage. And then I think I gotta try it again. And again, pop Spirit Guardians. So yeah, pretty much just 1-2, 1-2. Same attacks again. She's going to bring the paws down on Gale and then again bring out a Spirit Guardians. And that's going to go to Jinx. So at this point, Jinx, you can see the cats like running right in front of you.
Okay, I got you. And then the difficult ground is all the blue, right?
Yeah, snakes are just writhing about everywhere. And
Okay, so where I'm at right now, I can't really see anything though, can I?
Correct.
So can I see are Gale or Davros, either one of them bloodied currently?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can see them perfectly fine.
Davros is not quite bloodied.
And neither is Gale.
Okay, I got you. Um, if something is incapacitated, does that affect like concentration and stuff like that?
I believe being incapacitated, it just can't take actions or reactions. I don't know if that would affect concentration. It kind of makes
Probably
sense that
not,
it
right?
would. I don't know. I don't think it does because it doesn't say it does, versus it would make sense to me if it did. Um, versus like unconscious. Yeah, I think that's the difference. Incapacitated is still concentrating. Unconscious would break concentration.
Okay, I got you. Okay. And there's like snakes all over the ground, but that movement like debuff is like literally on the ground?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. My bad. I'm trying to see what requires actual line of sight and what doesn't. Yeah, it's not great. I can't do a ton from where I'm at right now. And do my gloves, I don't actually have to use an action to disengage them. So if I engage them, like this turn, use my action, and then move, and then like just drop that or whatever, I can still attack right afterwards, right? Like say like I did this over 2 turns.
I think the way they're worded, yes.
Because it's basically when I use the action, the gloves just stop working. So I would basically like drop from whatever I was doing and be like casting a spell.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I think that's what I have to do. I think because if I try to move, I'm not going to be able to get anywhere. So I think I'm going to activate the gloves or try to activate them and then climb up on the ceiling this turn. Ooh, another 20. Uh-oh. That means the one's coming soon. So I'm just putting myself kind of crooked so we remember that I'm on the ceiling.
Gotcha.
And then I will. Sorry, this is such a weird situation because I can't move and I also can't see anything. Okay, and then I'm just gonna yell out to Davros, try and swat one of them. Reinforcements coming from the rear. And I'm gonna give him bardic inspiration. And that's it for me.
All right, the lizard is going to like reach down and take a group of like red feathers that are kind of like strapped to its belt and like just throwing them into its mouth. You kind of hear as like these feathers seem to break and almost kind of shattering like glass before you start to see like a goo of red liquid kind of spreading across their mouth. And they stand just a little bit taller. I think it is going to try. Yeah, I think you're gonna see as it starts to um change. Yeah, it's gonna change from like the form of like this humanoid creature into a large crocodile. And then that's gonna go to Gale.
Let's see. Do you want a wisdom saving throw? Or
Oh yeah, yeah, you will have a wisdom at the start of your turn.
that would be 17.
17's good. Uh, You are not affected by the movement because you saved, so you can actually move. It's still 20 feet for space. If you failed that with the cats and had the snakes, you would not be able to move.
Yeah. Did I take any damage as well, or is that
Oh, my bad. I'd said 5. I might not have pressed the button fully.
okay? I'm gonna take my movement and move back and see the crocodile and everything. But yeah, I'm gonna shoot magic missile at the cat person because I'm gonna use it at.
Davros, the crocodile is like flopping down on top of you. It took some damage from being on top of you, but you'll have to make a decision whether you want to remain in that space and basically continue to share taking damage with it.
Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a regular first level, so 3 bolts of magic missile into the cat person. Horrible damage, but that's 9 force damage, a 1, a 1, and a 4.
Fucking magic missile.
That's why I have it. But yeah, sadly I can't move out of the way, so I'm blocking Davros, I think.
After Gale is Davros.
All right. So as this kind of lizard folk transforms into this crocodile, that kind of landing right on top of him, he's going to take. Is it so? Yeah. Is he? If he wanted to try to get out from under it, is he able to move with Gale there, or is he kind of stuck?
Same idea. Like you could move out and away. Um, you can't really move with Gale because of how the movement is here, but you can get to the northeast, like between Gale and Jinx, basically.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do. And then swing twice, or I guess, swinging twice at this massive crocodile. Does it matter if he does it before or after he moves?
No, that's what I was saying. Yeah, you can swing twice without having to move first. You can attack it without moving.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. All right, a crit and a 19 or 20.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna stay a crocodile.
So okay, so the non-crit was first. So that'll be for 9 damage. And then the crit will be for 17 plus so 27 on the crit. So 36 total.
Yeah, it's gonna revert back to lizardman form.
All right. But I think that's as far as he can move with the difficult terrain, so that will be it for Davros.
I'm gonna say you can choose here. You guys are in the same space. You can choose to move like forward, or you can choose backward.
Oh, okay. In that case, I think he'll try to push into the room. Yeah, or into the kind of like the doorway here.
Yeah, the cat is going to try to smash Gale with the jelly beans. Should be a solid hit.
Oh.
7 damage.
Actually, I was going to try to shield that one.
Gotcha. What's your AC with shield up?
That would be 22.
Gotcha. That was a 23 to hit.
Okay, that would still get through then.
I mean, you don't have to burn shield there.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, how much was the damage you say?
7 damage.
With that, if anyone's looking, Gale is looking bloodied.
Yeah, the cat is going to raise a bell that it like pulls from its waist, and it's a large cracked brass bell. And it's just going to smash into it with one of its paws. And there's not really the sound of a ringing bell as you would expect. But actually, it would be more intelligent to say, how bloody does Davros look?
Mechanically, he's not bloodied yet, but he's very close. He rolled well for his hit points for the day, so he started the day pretty healthy, but he is one more hit will put him bloodied for sure.
Yeah, I think this is the perfect time to do this, so. As the bell rings out in silence, Davros. Oh shit! I don't get to choose. Oh. Which one of you had? How many hit points do you have, Jinx? Not Jinx. Gale.
Currently, I have 20 hit points.
How many hit points do you have, Davros?
53.
Okay, good. I didn't have enough to do Davros, anyways. Gale is going to fall over, asleep.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, when the bell rings out, you hear horrific screams of tortured souls, and it's just a cacophony of voices. All of these different people yelling out, like to save me, like they're drowning, and you start to feel hands like pulling you down, and you feel for a moment like that same kind of feeling of like people yelling for you to save them, but in the process they're pulling you down into the darkness with them. And that will go to Jinx.
All right. And who cast that one?
I'm not gonna lie, you don't even know that got cast
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
because the bell made
Um,
no sound to anybody but Gale.
yeah, okay, that makes sense. And I can't really see anything going on right now. So the snakes are still all over the floor, but the other thing is gone now?
Yeah, the cats are gone again.
Oh, I think I didn't roll my wisdom save for the spiritual guardians at the start of my turn.
The cats were already gone because Gale got rid of them before.
Oh, right, with the magic missile. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Alright,
I was
so
thinking I should have had her have the one that gives you advantage, but I didn't. So, but I feel like she would have been a better opponent with it.
alright, so I'm like monkey barring across the ceiling basically with my gloves at the moment. So I guess as soon as I come around the corner, I see Gale on the ground. The lizard is no longer a crocodile now, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
But there's still snakes all over the ground.
There are indeed. Gale is essentially unconscious in them, so you can't tell whether Gale is like injured and because he's bloodied. You can't tell whether Gale's like injured unconscious or like sleeping unconscious here because you don't really know what happened to him.
Yeah, I would imagine he's probably like laying on the ground, blood all over him. There's snakes crawling on him. I would imagine my first inclination is like shit's hitting the fan, like worst case scenario.
Yeah,
So I think I'm gonna crawl. And if he's unconscious, can I share a space with him or no?
technically, no. I think he needs to be dead to become an object to technically be able to share space with him. You can still share a space with him, but then you have to move off of it.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I think your gloves deactivate when you do stuff. So, like, it would be pretty hard to not get stuck in his space if at some point you found yourself in his space.
No, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, because the snakes are still there.
Yeah, I feel like on some level, like you can do what you want to do, but I feel like on some level, like moving inside of the room with your initial plan and then healing word him so he's standing up has got to be like at least somewhere on what you think is the best course of action. But he's still next to the lizard man who's going to go next. So, like, the idea that the lizard man could attack him with two attacks and finish him off is real as well. You know what I mean? Because two crits at point blank is four death saving throws, of which he does not have.
Yeah, that makes sense because that completely changes what I was planning on doing. Because I think I think I would have to immediately change my plan and not do what I think I was gonna do.
Almost as if you're battling the forces of chaos and plans will serve you no good.
Well, I think I was gonna come around the corner and like cast a spell, but now I see Gale on the ground, covered in snakes. Looks like he's like down, like unconscious. And obviously we're still in the middle of the shit. So I think I just man, I don't want to like yeah, I think just fully assessing the situation and seeing what's going on. I think I I think I dropped down from the ceiling I reach out, grab hold of Gale by like the collar, and then I dimension door us.
Oh shit! Where are you going to?
I'm just gonna go straight back into the main room.
Like back where you came from? Dimension door doesn't need like sight.
No, if I'm like familiar with the area, otherwise I can just specify a distance.
Gotcha. Roll a luck roll and tell me whether high is good or low is good,
So let me just make sure this is
or
legit. Well,
really
I've never
even or
done it
odd.
before. I've never done it before, so I'm gonna try it and we'll just see how it works. But it says you teleport yourself from a current location to any other spot within range. You arrive at exactly the spot desired. It can be a place you
Oh
can
yeah, yeah.
see, one you can visualize, or one you can describe by stating the distance and direction, such as 200 feet straight downward, or upward to the northeast at a 45-degree angle, 300 feet. So something that's familiar to me is going to be that room that we were in. That's something very, very familiar to me. Is like I'll teleport us like into this room over here, like close to the you see where I'm at.
Yeah.
But my question is, and I've never used Dimension Door before, so it says you can bring along objects as long as their weight doesn't exceed what you can carry. You can also bring one willing creature of your size or smaller who is carrying gear up to its carrying capacity. The creature must be within 5 feet of you when you cast the spell. So, does he have to be conscious to be willing? Does he count as an object? Like, how does that work? Like, I would imagine he's always willing, but like, do you have to be conscious to like have a will? And like, if he's just unconscious,
Yeah.
like, he's not technically an object. So, like, it's sort of like
How
one of those
much
things.
does Gale weigh, and how much are you carrying in gear right now, Gale?
Gale weighs 154 pounds, and at the moment, let's see, he's carrying 19.56 pounds.
So about 175 pounds. What is your total carrying capacity on Jinx? I think if you click on carrying capacity or your movement something, it'll tell you your total that you can like push, pull, or slide kind of thing. Because it's a lot more than you can like walk with normally.
Um, yeah, my carrying capacity is 105 pounds. My push, drag, or lift is 210. Um,
Gotcha. So I have a feeling like how much are you carrying in stuff right now?
34 pounds.
That sounds good enough for me that you can teleport with Gale. That's super close to your push pull or slide limit, but as far as I'm concerned, go for it.
So like as I sort of like uh do like a weird like thing with my hand, you see like a kind of portal like open up, and I just yell out to Davros, "I'll be right back." And I just drag Gale into like this black hole, and then we just disappear. And you would have never seen me do this before, so
All right. I feel
and
like that
my
is.
when
Go ahead.
when I yell that out to Davros, I'm giving him bardic inspiration.
Gotcha. I think this is a perfect place for us to stop here and pick up next week.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
So,
Yeah, I'm not sure if that Rose believes Jinx or not, but we'll see.
Well, I was about to drop down and do hypnotic pattern, and like hypnotic pattern over the three of you guys, and then just like wake Davros back up. But I was like, yo, what if this fails? And then like they don't go to sleep, and worst case, even Davros does, and then like the whole party gets like TPK'd. And like what I was thinking with Gale is if I just bring him back up, he's gonna come up with like 15 hit points, like maximum, maybe like 20 or something. So he's just gonna get down again with like one hit.
Yeah, I guess mechanically speaking, obviously you wouldn't have known this, but like so he wouldn't have quite been taking death saving throws yet because he's asleep, not actually unconscious, right?
Yeah, 100%.
But
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
That's what I mean. Like when
yeah,
I part of why I said it like that is because like on some level you have to see this situation as Gale is unconscious, like knocked out, and to get attacked by a creature that is on top of him is pretty much like a guaranteed death. That
Yeah,
was
it's
my
like
point.
double
Is
crit.
like figure out how you want to role play that, but that thought should be somewhere in your mind. And in particular, it's because the bell is silent and he couldn't see. So he didn't know. Because effectively, you guys, like, as things come to here, um, like, uh, Gale is already going to be awake. Like, Gale going through that dimension door. Actually, that probably would be a more intelligent idea. That was a perfect way to end things, though. But yeah, I think that's the difference. Is like Gale's already going to be awake from the dimension door.
Well, and I think on top of everything, the fact that the ground is like covered with all these snakes too, and then Gale was already bloody when he got dropped, like he's gonna look like just a dead body. There's so much motion from the snakes, I'm not gonna be able to see that he's still breathing. You know what I mean? So I just feel like
Hmm.
that would just 100% to me look like Gale was like dead. So like the immediate thing, or at least unconscious. So the immediate thing for me would be I've got to get him out of the danger that just healing him is not going to be enough.
yeah, no, yeah, yeah, I think it completely made sense. Um, and I think even if like, so even like, I mean, Davros saw the bell, but he has no idea what it actually did because there was no like sound or anything. So as far as he knows, it could have dealt like psychic damage and knocked him unconscious or whatever too.
Yeah, you do have a 360-degree kind of view of things, and that's where you would 100% have like not heard anything from the bell as the cat struck it, but you did see the moment the cat struck it, Gale basically just like falls as a limp noodle to the ground.
Well, and the last thing I was thinking, even when you described it, was I was not thinking that it was sleep. I was thinking Toll the Dead.
Yeah, there's definitely some cooler objects that it could have been, but when I like read, I was like, "Oh, what was it like 11d8?" I'm like, "That's actually potentially pretty cool." And then I'm like, "Oh, I still didn't even hit what like Davros was at." 'Cause I was just thinking, "Oh man, if I could put Davros to sleep and get both of these to attack Davros at the same time while he's unconscious on the ground, wee." But yeah, like it's crazy to imagine like how ineffective that still was, but I do think I probably rolled pretty low. What's it, 11d8? No, 45 is almost exactly. It's a little bit under average. I think I rolled an average of fours, basically. But yeah, we'll kind of stop things here, like mid initiative. But I do like how that kind of played out.
Yeah, no, yeah, me too. It's a good cliffhanger.
I love that you said, I don't know if he believes you, but I mean, I can only imagine you like in the middle of the combat, like your one buddy's like nowhere to be seen, your other buddy's like down on the ground, you're not sure what just happened. You're in the middle of like two bad guys, and then all of a sudden the other buddy shows up and then drags the first guy into like a black hole and says, I'll be right back. You're like, oh shit, left for dead.
I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm glad we got to play. I did not think with how my day was going here that I was going to get an actual opportunity. And I was really worried I was going to have to cancel today. I'm glad things worked out. Glad everybody was able to make it. I hope you guys had fun.
Yeah, it's another good session.